We have spoken about culinary arts as well. Now it's time to discuss education, which is, of course, the strongest bridge between the two nations. Tonight, we will explore how Germany continues to attract Indian students and what challenges, opportunities, and trends are shaping the global academic challenge. Let's decode this in our next playoff, which is on Study in Germany, Challenges and Opportunities. Can we have the video playing here?
Every year, thousands of young Indians chase a dream.
To learn, to live, to lead abroad.
Germany has emerged as the new frontier.
India is the talent engine.
Students move, professors collaborate, ideas cross borders.
Together, the two nations are building a new axis of education diplomacy.
Dual degree pathways, skills-based programs, academic bridges that build futures.
Education is no longer local.
Germany seeks skills to fill its demographic gaps.
India offers one of the world's largest talent pipelines.
Together, they create global citizens.
And win-win employment outcomes.
It's a pact for the future.
The playoff begins.
All right, so the players will feature Professor Dr. Dietmar Tilpert, Professor of Strategic Management and Business Policy, Mr. Jonas Margraf, MD Fentiba, Ms. Marion Hocke, Director of International Office, University of Stuttgart, Mrs. Anandi Iyer, Head Fraunhofer Gesellschaft, India Office, Dr. M.P. Sham, President, Avi Institutions and Avi University, Bengaluru, and Ms. Mary Christian Hoffman, Head of International Team in India, Task Force Bavaria. May I please request you all to kindly make your way to the stage as referee for this playoff. Shweta Kotari takes up the center stage next.
Can you hear me? Oh, yes, you can hear me now. Mark is also joining us from Burma. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know we are 2 or 3 more panels to go before we end this evening. And I have 35 minutes on the clock. And I believe 8 panelists here in front of me. So bear with me. I'm going to make it very quick. But at the same time, this is an issue that concerns all of us. We are talking about studying in Germany. Why has it become an imperative today? So while we look at changing global order, for Indian students today to be in Germany, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And it's become an imperative to look for alternatives as the global order changes. And I'm speaking specifically from what's happening in the US, where students are finding it increasingly difficult to either get a post-study work visa or even get a visa when they've enrolled into a college. Many of those examples have suddenly started cropping up. So in that context, let me begin with you, Jonas. It's been a year since we spoke. Last year in India, in fact, this year, February in India again. And you were very hopeful on more number of people coming into Germany. Where do we stand today with all of these changes coming to light in the last 6 months?
Yeah, thanks, Sweta. Exactly. We talked over the last years, I think, over time, and we constantly track these changes. We're from Fintiba. We're helping international students coming to Germany, and we see every year a couple of thousands or 100,000 coming through our platform. So we see this trend. And I think we're really one of the industries in Germany that is really booming at the moment, and especially thanks to India. So I would say our hopes have always been exceeded. So we had more than 25,000 new students coming in from India, and we're building the diaspora. So we have more than 50,000 students in here, and I think it accelerates because more and more people know about the opportunities here, especially of finding a job, building a career. And yeah, Indians becoming really the nationality in Germany with the highest salaries. So I think it's a story that multiplies, and from our side, it can go on like this.
So are you preparing for more than 60,000 now? To what extent? What is the growth that you're looking at from this year onward? Given that, you know, perhaps EU-India FTA will be signed, and then more Indian students will look for alternatives to the US. Do you have an estimate?
I have no estimate, but I know where the bottlenecks are. So I think people are lining up in India, but they don't come here. So the better we become in sort of processes like bureaucratic processes, in visa handling, in the APS in India, the more we will actually host here. And I think this is where we need to improve in Germany, and then the growth will continue like this. And I mean, it's double digit, so it's very nice.
Very nice. Getting better. Professor Hilpert, you gave a very strong sales pitch this morning. You said, and you were speaking directly to Indian students this morning on the red carpet, and you said, why go to US? Come to Germany. Germany has everything to offer.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's already on, yeah. I've been responsible at the European School of Business for over 23 years for the German-American links. And I actually saw all American top 100 universities. And I think the time is over of the Anglo-Saxon dominating the world in education. And here in Germany, we are at the same level. Sometimes I found out that we in Germany are much better than they are over in the United States. Actually, if you look in the United States at the undergraduate programs, and compare them to German undergraduate programs, you find out the quality is much, much lower. Everybody goes over to the United States into master programs, but in the master programs, there are about 10 to 15% Americans, and the rest is coming from the rest of the world. And they are paying so much money, $100,000 a year at least. And here in Germany, our big advantage is we have high quality, and the price for studying in Germany is incredibly low. In the master's degree, something like 1,500 euro in the state of Baden-Württemberg. So to the students, come to Germany, come to Baden-Württemberg.
Well, yes, that deserves a round of applause, yes. But Marion, when I spoke to her earlier today, said, don't just fall for the charade of low money, low tuition fee. There is a lot more that Germany has to offer beyond low tuition fee.
Exactly. I mean, you mentioned it as well. We have a very high quality in our education. Even though most of our universities are public universities, the best ranked universities that we have in Germany are public universities. So they have huge opportunities for research, and also going on to the labor market. So what we do at universities nowadays, I mean, we help students when they arrive, we help them to integrate into the study programs, into the German education system, but we also help them to go on, and we try to prepare them for the workforce, for the labor market. We inform them about how to apply to a German company. What do I need to know if I go into a German company? There's a different culture in German companies than there might be in India. So we try to prepare them for that. And we are looking forward to have more of them, especially Indian students tend to go into the STEM field, and these are the fields that we definitely need in Germany. German students, it seems, tend not to go so much into STEM fields, and that's why we count on international students.
All right, you know, I have to come to you at this point, Mr. Sham, because you have basically said in a lot of your speeches earlier as well that there is now a new opportunity for more students to come to EU and more specifically Germany, because it's not just low cost of tuition, it's also the research and the innovative environment that you don't usually get, you know, beyond fundamental research, you don't get in Indian universities.
Over the last couple of years, Indian students coming to Germany has increased multifold. I think the Indian diaspora in Germany is the highest, beating the Chinese a couple of years ago. So there are a number of Indian universities and colleges which have study in Germany program. 1 year they study in India, where they're taught A1, A2 and B1 languages of German, and then they have a good foundation of mathematics, physics and other STEM subjects, and they are welcomed in Germany, and they have been doing exceedingly well in German schools because Indian students are very passionate to learn, very hardworking, and they're career oriented. And Germany opens up, not a good German degree, opens up a number of job opportunities in the EU region. We've also been doing a lot of industry-related programs with German companies in India. We have an advanced diploma in automotive mechatronics. We have IoT centers with German companies, so which helps them directly after a program of 10 months to 12 months, which are skill-based, to come directly into the European industry and the German industry here. So I find more and more students looking at Germany because the career opportunities are high and the quality of education, like some of them in the panelists were saying, is extremely high, especially in engineering and STEM subjects.
STEM subjects. Ms. Iyer, do you agree with that? The quality of education when compared to India is extremely high, and that's an advantage that Indian students have when it comes to research, innovation, opportunities. What Germany offers, perhaps right now, India is lagging at the moment.
Well, I think it's not just the quality of education, which is of course brilliant, and you can see that that's a very varied kind of ecosystem where you have applied universities of applied sciences, you have full universities, you have research centers like the Fraunhofer. But I think what's really impressive about Germany is the seamless ecosystem that takes you from education to the market. So you have universities of applied sciences that give you dual training, where there is more training than education in terms of theory, but you also have universities that give you more theory and also multidisciplinary subjects, which is the need of the hour today. But more importantly, for example, a Fraunhofer Institute, which is in the field of research, is directly connected to the university. Those students doing their docs and PhDs come into, they register at the university but do their PhD with us and then move into the industry. We have a broken ecosystem in India, which kind of, disconnects the student from the education to the industry. And that's where we are having the issues of not being a product nation and not moving up the value chain. So I think students coming to Germany should really look more at this huge opportunity of a seamless education that gives them the right kind of skills, which are depth and breadth to deal with the new learning environment, rather than just look at the low cost, because that would be the wrong focus, I think.
Not just the low cost. Ms. Hoffman, are you worried that perhaps more international students are coming to Germany and taking up STEM subjects? Because that's what Marion and I were also talking about prior to the panel, that more international students are now enrolled into STEM subjects as opposed to the local talent, German students?
Yes, so we established our India task force because we recognize that so many people from India coming to Germany and they need support with the onboarding, support with...
Could you hold your mic closer, ma'am?
Closer? Yeah. Support with the onboarding, support with mental health, because they come to Germany, it's a new country, new people, new language, and we want to support them to have everything ready when they come to Germany and don't have something else to do and chill and concentrate on studies.
All right, and in your assessment, have the barriers reduced compared to, perhaps last 2 decades since India and Germany established a strategic partnership? The barriers for Indian students who want to now enroll into German universities, have they reduced now substantially, and what remains?
So we have a specific onboarding process for students. So we support them if they are still in India. So we share with them all necessary documents that they can register for health insurance before they come to Germany. And then they have everything ready for the embassy, for visa and so on. And we also support universities regarding international or intercultural teams and trainings and so on. So we recognize that this process we have to optimize regularly, but it works very good.
And that's where I think, Mark, also the struggle is. A lot of Indian students coming to Germany, perhaps not really integrated with the culture in Germany. The language continues to be a barrier, although, it's getting better day after day. In your assessment, what are the bottlenecks still for Indian students?
Well, you mentioned the language, and the language is really a thing that is key in Germany, because when I think from my perspective, I represent a health insurance, and let me say how important it is that today both the two largest health insurance companies in Germany sit up here and discuss that matter because it shows how important that is. And when it comes to language, yeah, that is important because in Germany we are the land of red tape. We have a lot of bureaucracy in place, and language is still key because we as a public company send our letters in German. So when you understand the language, you really understand how to navigate the system, how you get everything you have to get, and how you can cope with challenges. So speaking the language is really key to stepping into your new life here in Germany and starting your new life.
All right, so Jonas, language, blocked accounts, lengthy process, everything in German, Indian students finding it hard. You also come in there. Fintiba is doing great work in trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah, but I would also add that if there's one language who knows, one country who knows how to deal with languages, then it's India. So I don't think there's...
Yeah, we take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's nothing to really worry about it, because I also make this comparison. If you take the percentage of English speakers in Germany versus India, I think the percentage is higher in Germany, of course, even if you have in total numbers India is leading. So I think there's nothing to be worried about, because in Germany you will get along with English in your daily life. But of course, over the time of studies, it's so essential that you pick up German if you want to pursue a career and then live here. So I think it's worth taking the effort for what Germany offers. And this is quite an opportunity to start a career here and enter the labor market.
Right. Well, worth taking an effort, start learning German, and great many opportunities await for you. Mr. Shan, I think, apart from learning the language and going beyond language, one of the things that Indians, young students keenly eye is an opportunity to be employed, to get money, to make money. And now Germany offers 18-month, if I'm not wrong, of post-study work visa. Post-study work visa. And lateral entry is also relatively easy. Yes. Right. So in your assessment then, what are the challenges that Indian students have at the moment for those who are coming especially for post-graduation, where I believe German language is not necessary?
I think post-graduation is really not a problem. We have a lot of students coming to the TV9 universities. Okay, they do come on the Erasmus scholarships, and they also get the other kinds of scholarships which are given by the government of Germany. So we have a lot of Indian students coming for their masters and PhD programs, and they quickly pick up the German language, and that's not an issue. It's with the undergraduate students who need to learn German. Like if they have to get employed in the SME and the MSME industry, knowledge of German is very important, because like my panelists were saying, that letters are still written in German language. So if the knowing of the language is extremely important, I think more effort has to be done by Indian schools and Indian universities in popularizing learning of German. That would help them, because there are something like 500,000 jobs in Germany alone, which is available.
Ready to be taken.
Ready to be taken.
Okay, 500,000 jobs, that's a lot. Ms. Iyer, what is basically at this point hindering Indian students to take fill some of those positions, take some of those positions? I know that there are cultural issues. We've heard often on social media, we don't know how true that is. Perhaps you can enlighten us of cultural issues that Indian students face, of the language barrier that we talked about, among a host of other issues that currently exist when it comes to being employed in Germany. What, according to you, are some of the challenges that international students and Indian students in particular are facing?
See, I don't think there are too many cultural challenges, because like somebody said, Indians speak 5 languages and they are very different from each other. It's not like just a dialect. So learning one more language, and that which belongs to the similar Sprachfamilie, as they say, language tree, is not really a big challenge. And what you need to know is basically communicative German, so that you get integrated in your daily life. But I think the challenge really, what I hear from students, of course, I don't meet too many of the graduates. I'm talking about the PhDs and the postdocs that come to Fraunhofer, is that they are confronted with a very heavily practical way of teaching. And that takes a long time to learn. So very often I hear from my professors that Indian students are brilliant in theory, but the minute you put them in a lab, they are flummoxed, because they've never seen a machine, right? And the second
I think
thing
we can all agree with that.
Correct. So that's a process, it's a learning, and frankly, they adapt pretty well. But the other thing is that a lot of us coming from India are used to Anglo-Saxon countries where it is more welcoming. It's easier to settle in because there is a larger Indian community. And so the feeling of being away from home is more in Germany. Of course, it's changing, but you do feel that it's a little less welcoming than it would be in an English-speaking country. And the fact that you did not have for so many years your Indian community to back on. Of course, today you have cricket clubs and Diwali parties and everything else that goes with it. So I think it's an evolving situation.
So there's an entire ecosystem now to support you in case you're in Germany. If you're homesick, then you have an entire ecosystem. Professor Hilpert, coming back to you, you know, as we were discussing, some of the subjects that Indian students are interested in mostly is STEM subjects. And the maximum we ever go out of our classrooms is go to a park with a blackboard to study, which essentially means there is very little practical knowledge that is imparted on us during our undergrad and even during post-graduation. What are the challenges that you see when you're teaching Indian students?
I see one problem here. We already have a typical German discussion. We talk about the universities of applied science, and importing students from India. I think we should export a system that we have in Germany, which is the corporate state universities. And we have so many companies that are over in India. Why shouldn't they start together with the Indian university, a similar thing as these corporate state universities, where you are 3 months in the company, 3 months studying and doing this for 3 to 4 years? I think this would be wonderful. And talking to Indian students, just as mentioned, they are very clever, especially in mathematics. It's incredible how good they are. And therefore, again, I go for the Duale Hochschule Baden-Württemberg. This is a great idea, and this should be brought a little bit more to India.
Could you translate that for us, those of us who don't understand German?
No, the first thing would be another thing. When I've been over to India, I visit nearly all the Goethe-Institute, and I found out that they are doing a great job. And again, here in Germany, we don't look who comes to Germany, what they are expecting. I think we should ask Indian students what do they expect when they come to Germany, why they would like to come to Germany, and when they are here, we should ask them how successful is what you expected when you in those days wanted to come to Germany. And I think these are some really big problems we haven't addressed really good at the moment.
All right, Marion, we were also briefly talking about public universities, private universities. Any person who studied here in a private university in India can tell you that it's expensive, but it's worth it. And we don't want to take our chances unless they are very well known, like the Delhi University or Mumbai University in India. We want to avoid public universities because the quality of education is just not good enough. But that's not the case in Germany, is it?
No, it's completely different. As I mentioned earlier, the highest ranked universities that we have in Germany, they are all public universities. You mentioned the TU9, all of them, we're also part of the TU9, all of them are public universities. We rarely have private research universities, there's only a few. Most of the private universities would be universities of applied sciences, so they are more practically oriented. Maybe they have more specialized programs, but if you're looking for high quality, if you go with a public university, you're on the right track. They have a lot of very good research. They have a lot of international programs. They have international students. There's a lot of support there for international students. So you can definitely go for a public university. You don't need to go for a private university.
I think that clears the air for a lot of people here in the room. I'm not sure if anybody wants to enroll in a German university. I hope they have kids who want to enroll in universities.
They could come.
So that's good knowledge. That's good knowledge because there is clarity that public university is to go for, perhaps a better choice. Mark, I want to come back to you. You know, we were talking about some of the processes that continue to be a hinder, and you work in insurance sector, and that was also one of the things that Indian students often found very difficult to navigate. Has it become easier now?
Yes, it has, because we as German companies start to address those people better. And what we really noticed sometime after like 2 years where we are really strongly focusing on India is that we understood the Indian mindset, because the young Indian people often come to Germany and are used that their parents do everything for them. And that's what we in Germany usually are not used to, because we grow up in that system.
Because our parents still pay for our undergraduation.
Exactly. And in Germany,
that's such an important point. I think all those Indians in the room, how many of your parents have paid for your undergrad and postgrad? You see?
Yeah.
Everyone, almost everyone, because our parents still pay for our education.
And that's what took us about 2 years to understand, that we have to address that issue. And that's why we want to talk to the people and say to them, hey, we know how it goes in your country, but when you come to Germany, you have a little bit to adjust to it and work with the system. You have to understand it yourself. And that's what we do with our partners. That's also why it's great that we sit here at that panel in that great team, because we all need to join our strengths and work together to make exactly that possible, to address the people and make them understand the system.
All right, you know, as it gets easier, and Fintiba is also playing a very important role in all of this process, Jonas, I have to ask you, what according to you is still an impediment? What stops Indian students from considering Germany as an important study destination, where perhaps the government for both the countries can come together, collaborate, and make it work?
Well, I think, first of all, it's still about knowing about Germany. I mean, I think this is the biggest opportunity to make it more visible, because we have hardly any marketing. If you go to conferences in India, for example, you see all the big countries, like the Big Four, the Anglo-Saxons, they have massive marketing investment. The Germans are in one small corner most of the time. So I really think we need to communicate this opportunity. And then on the way, of course, this is why Fintiba has been founded. It's really, how do we make it as easy as possible to go through visa processes, to all the requirements that you need for enrollment, and all these kind of things, where we've built a digital platform, because I think digitalization is also something that is often, or has been missing in Germany, and we're now catching up. I think we should also be open about, we can learn from some, for example, private universities in terms of service, for example. I think not everyone, you know, like ESB Reutling has worked with a lot of individualized service. This is not the norm in many universities, and I think we need to improve a lot on the university side, also on the authority side, to really help people go through the process much more smoothly than today.
All right. Professor Hilpert, if I were to enroll today for an additional postgrad, I already have a post-graduation degree, but if I were to enroll today for a postgraduate degree in one of the German universities, what sort of scholarship am I eligible for? What are the opportunities? Firstly, you know, as Jonas pointed out, that there is little knowledge in the world, so, you know, I don't know a lot of scholarship opportunities, a lot of fellowship opportunities that will bring me to Germany.
Yeah, this is a big problem, as Jonas he knows it very well, has also been at the European School of Business and encountered students from about 20 different countries. You have to have universities with which you work together. And another important thing is you have to establish in each of these universities in Germany and abroad champions, people that stay for a longer time. And this is a big disadvantage with the Anglo-Saxons. They do job enrichment, and every half year you have somebody new. And I found out that in Indian you have the same mentality. You stay with your job, and this is a big chance. But we need money, and where does the money come from for promoting in Germany? It should come from the ministries, but they don't have the money. Perhaps there are some companies around that think that would be a great idea, supporting promotion of Germany and studying in Germany in India.
That automatically brings me to my next question, and that is the market economics, Marion, is not working quite in favor of Germany, is it?
Pardon, sorry.
The economics, the market situation, the inflation, you know, the economic development of, I mean, the GDP numbers are not looking very great. The job market is shrinking at the moment. So that does make a lot of Indians worry whether they should come to Germany when it has its own internal problems right now to deal with.
Oh, that's a tough question.
Well, so let me make it easy for you. Have any of your students, international students, come to you worried about possibility of being jobless at the end of their course?
Not necessarily. I mean, we try to prepare them as good as we can. We try to prepare them on how to find jobs. And yes, the situation is a bit difficult, but we also tell them, well, usually they want to stay in the area. They want to stay in the region, they want to stay in the area. But sometimes we tell them, you know, you have to maybe go a bit further. Go to some other state, see if they have jobs there. So this is something that we try to tell them and show them what opportunities are they. What we also do is tell them that during their studies they can also learn some they can get some practical experience. They can do an internship, you know, and that might help them also find a job later on. It can be difficult, and I know the situation at the moment is not the best, but I would say there's still a lot of opportunities for international students, for Indian students, and I'm going back to the STEM fields. They are still sought for.
Okay, just STEM? And any other field? For people like us who are in the arts field, what happens to us?
I would say, I don't know, maybe medicine is something. I don't know, maybe the others can help me out here. So this might be also something.
Okay, okay. STEMs and medicine for now. Sham, you're agreeing with that?
Yes, I agree with her.
All right. And so before I end, Ms. Hoffman, coming to you, finally, as I said, you know, a lot of Indian students perhaps who are going to watch this panel, and all of you academics, founders, people who are trying to assist more students to get a job, to find better opportunities by the way of education, research, so on and so forth, are also looking at the possibility of making it easier to enter into Germany and have a life in Germany. And so you said you've been helping a lot of Indian students at the moment. What sort of queries are you getting when it comes to Indian students? What are they most worried about?
The most worries are homesickness is a big worry. To find a community in Germany. This is why TK is also supporting companies that they can build a good international team. So we support HR with trainings and also help the expats to settle in Germany. And they also have a direct contact person at TK. So in our team, they always have an ear for every questions coming up. And we also communicate with them in English, and I think this is also a very important topic. And we want to make Germany attractive, so we want that they stay in Germany as long as they can. So we work together with universities and companies very closely.
All right, thank you very much for that. I think I'm going to hand it over back to my colleague now. Thank you very much, all of you, for taking time out, for being with us this evening. Studying in Germany is not a question, as I mentioned earlier, a question of if, it's a question of when. All the more given how difficult student life is and how world is changing very rapidly. Thank you, all of you, for making it easier perhaps for Indian students to make a choice this evening. Thank you.
Requesting all of you on stage to please stay on stage because it's time for the shawl and scarf presentation. We have a big surprise for you as far as the scarf presentation is concerned. To present the shawls, let me first invite Mr. Amit Tripathi, Chief Revenue Officer of the TV9 Network. And for the scarf presentation from 4FB Stuttgart, we have a big surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Stuttgart legend Kakao, who will be presenting the scarf. Huge round of applause for Kakao. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us.